Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com. The April Gates Group and Zion Canyon Real Estate have been specializing in helping Southern Utah clients buy and sell property for over 18 years. We can help you too. Call or text April today, 435-632-8869, 435-632-8869.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to A Great Day to Talk. I am Kim Michelle, and I'm here with my great friend, Miss Jill.
Hello.
Oh, look, she even got a hello in while she's attempting to multitask the technology.
Friends.
That is really good. Yeah, I would just be a blank pause. Ooh, what is that? Do you hear that?
Turn off your phone!
Turn off your phone.
That's your phone!
Oh my gosh, it's just
Talk about managing technology.
I can't make it turn off.
Now you hear me on echo!
Can you still hear it? I'm putting it under here.
Yeah, I can still hear it. So,
Wait, hold
today is our topic for today is perfect for exactly what's happening right now.
I can't make it turn off,
Yeah.
Sean.
Give me that thing. Give me that.
Yeah. We're gonna. Oh, look, there's Sean. There's Sean. If you've never seen him,
Hold on.
there's Sean.
Hold on. I'm getting
Oh,
back
maybe
to it.
it's
There's
it
Sean.
sounds quiet now.
Oh, that's because I sat on it. Patty, where are you? You're the professional.
So we do want to acknowledge that Miss Patty isn't with us today.
We miss you.
Yeah. So I mean, she's with us.
She
but
is
she's
always
just
with
not
us.
present here in the studio.
She is home lounging and
recovering, but we
and
just
doing
saw her.
great.
She looks as gorgeous as ever,
Yes.
and vibrant, and so this is a time for her to take really good care of herself.
right.
But it was really great to see her, and so if you want to send a quick note post a quick note to her, that would be awesome. I know she would appreciate that too.
Yeah, Sean, did
Yeah.
you make that go live on my phone?
No, I just turned it off. You
So
need me
there
to
you
do
go.
that too?
I need you to do
Give me your
everything.
phone.
Okay, I need
Oh,
to
look,
get
it's
back.
going to be Sean again.
Sean, everybody say hi to Sean.
Everybody say hi to Sean.
Okay,
Yeah,
here you go.
there he is.
There you go, Sean.
I know.
Yeah,
Look,
so,
yeah,
look at that. You
uh-huh.
haven't even been to makeup.
Yeah. Wait, we have makeup and hair, and
I wasn't
Sean
supposed
does,
to tell
I guess.
you.
So
I wasn't
anyway,
supposed to tell you.
welcome to A Great Day to Talk on this wonderful Wednesday. Second Wednesday. Is this the second
This
Wednesday?
is the third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday in January. Can you believe
third
it?
Wednesday in January. We have
Yeah.
5 Wednesdays in January, which is what always screws me up. And as a school teacher, is always very difficult because the last business day of December is when we get paid for December, and then we don't get paid again until the last business day of January.
It's like 7 weeks,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah. And so the last business day in December is when we get out for Christmas.
Yeah, so it's like 7 weeks. And you would think that huge paycheck would be more than enough to sustain us over 7 weeks. But for some reason, mine
Thanks,
always
Sean.
seems a little short.
Oh gosh,
On the 7 week.
And considering how short I am, height-wise, mine seems even
Shorter.
much shorter than that. So, but ching.
Yeah. So I guess one question would be, how many people are still moving forward, like still going to the gym, if that was your commitment, or, and what are you making it mean about who you are if you are not, because it doesn't mean anything about who you are, which I think is a great kind of introduction into our topic for today.
Yes, it is. And before I interrupt,
I was going to say, I hadn't even interrupted yet.
I'm just going to say that I am grateful here at the beginning of the new year. I have been able to get back to my spin class.
I'm so glad. So explain that a little bit. What happened and what stopped you and what it's got you back.
gnarly meniscus tear, and then a tear, a lateral tear across the front of my knee. And I haven't been able to go since the beginning of November. And I've been able to start going twice a week.
Twice a week.
Yeah.
And how
I'm
are you feeling?
So happy about it just because of what it does to my head.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all. But yeah, so you mentioned gym things, and I'm just grateful
And you wanted
to
to celebrate.
Yeah, I just did want to get.
Okay, so every one
so
of
thank
you
you.
who has something like that, be sure you're celebrating that you're still in the process. You're still there. You're
Yep.
going. Yeah.
Yep. I'm able to go back after 2 months.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay.
So we're celebrating the wisdom of
Pooh.
Pooh. Celebrating Pooh.
And if you, there you go. It's our very
That
favorite
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Today is National Celebrate Winnie the Pooh Day.
Yay.
January 18th, because that is in honor of A.A. Milne, his birthday, who was born on this day in 1882.
Can you believe that?
I can't even believe that something from that time period, which seems so old,
1880.
honestly.
I mean, we're talking 100.
That's like before I was born.
That's not, what is that?
Just so you know.
130 years?
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, 100,
1882.
100. Yeah.
Yeah.
140.
I'm just going to be really happy that I was able to do that kind of math
I know.
on that short of notice.
And she allowed me to correct her on math, which
Always. Well, because
is what a good friend does.
I have to get corrected all the time. But what you were saying, Kim Michelle, is how relevant what was happening from this amazing artist is so relevant in our world in this moment.
In this moment. So I have to say that as I was thinking about the topic for today and then doing a little bit of additional background on A.A. Milne and his story with his son, Christopher Robin, it reminded me that it's time for me to go back and reread, because it's been forever since I read the original, right? The originals on that. But to be reminded that those characters, most of the characters that you see in associating with Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore and Tigger, were all stuffed animals, friends of his son, Christopher Robin's. And they fell out. Him and his dad, they really fell out and had a kind of an estranged relationship.
And
A.A. Milne.
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think there was I think Christopher felt like he had been used a little bit in his childhood to create the stories, and he was getting teased at school for it. And so they made an agreement that they wouldn't use him anymore. But I think by then he already had some angst around it.
Sure.
And it just carried into their adult years. But then his son, Christopher Robin, who was also known as Billy Moon, I think is what that was their nickname for him. He went into the military, and they got a notice that he was missing in action and presumed dead. So this is their only son, right? And they're thinking he's dead. And then he shows up at the house.
What?
Yeah. And they celebrate that he's alive and all of those kinds of things. But then Christopher shares a story with his dad that when he was on the battlefield and they're in the midst of battle, one of the soldiers starts singing the Pooh song, the Winnie the Pooh song out on the battlefield. And Christopher realizes that the kind of mark that his dad and what his dad has written has made on the world, and it changes his perspective around the entire thing.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's such an interesting and amazing backstory. And even if you didn't know any of the backstory, there is such great wisdom in the words of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my gosh, it's the truth, right?
And so that's what we're kind of going to talk about today as we celebrate Winnie the Pooh. What is? Oh, I didn't bring my phone. I had a couple of things on there.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's okay. What is your? Do you have a specific memory of Winnie the Pooh or any of those characters, or an experience around any of them?
Well, growing up, my favorites were Raggedy Ann and Andy. However, Winnie the Pooh was always part of just the culture of me growing up, right? And when I was in my early 20s, a book came out by Ben Hoffman, and it was called The Tao of Pooh. And at the time, I was newly divorced and really trying to find, who was I as an individual, no longer in this marriage and relationship that I'd been in for 6 going on 7 years. And I was in my early 20s at that point. And that book was one of the most amazing books. Now, some people would say, well, I'm not a believer of Taoism. I'm not a believer of Buddhism. I'm not a believer of, any kind of religion other than my own. And I would say that the lessons I learned from that book were more than about religion, but a way of being.
Yes, a way of being.
Yep. And we know that part of what Mr. Pooh always was about was being in the moment and being who
in
you
the
are.
moment, being present.
Yeah, and being who you are and
Yeah.
being okay with who you are.
Yep.
And then the other big Winnie the Pooh space in my life, and sadly, I mean, I have that book somewhere and tried to find it, and it's the first book that I recall annotating like I really annotate, reading and rereading and underlining and commenting and everything like that. And I'm on a mission to find that book, because that really was a big moment in that space of my life. But additionally, when years later, Judd and I got married, and then years later we were pregnant with our first, with Ethan. Judd, of all things, this sounds really weird to people, but this is just something that goes to what Pooh meant to a lot of people. Judd wanted to decorate the nursery with classic Pooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, not with the current Pooh, but with the classic Pooh. And emoji Pooh and non-emoji Pooh. But I remember, because Judd doesn't say no to me in a whole lot of most areas. And so when he does want something and say yes to something or no to something, then you just have to go with it.
Yeah.
And that was really just so telling to me about him, about Judd, and maybe what he was hoping to surround Ethan with before Ethan was even born. This idea of be who you are. And it's not that it's all okay, but it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. One of my favorites from Winnie the Pooh is do things for people not because of who they are or what they do in return, but because of who you are.
Yeah.
And he's just talking about showing up in the world. Just simply show up as you in your best self, your truest, most authentic self.
Yeah.
And that is the simplicity of Pooh.
Right.
Yeah. So I love that.
I have a couple of quotes on my phone from the book that still really, really resonate. And I swear I must have this book at school for my students to read somewhere. And I looked around there and I can't find it, but I've got to find it, because this is really one of those books that's a sit down, quick read, and that you just read these comments between Pooh and Piglet. And then Pooh and Eeyore. And Pooh and Tigger.
Yeah.
And it's more than Taoism.
And Roo.
It's way of being.
Yeah. That's what I would say across the board. That even if it isn't, even if you're like, well, I don't know if I want to read this because it is not necessarily representative of the religious views that I hold, for example. There's nothing, I don't think that it can hurt you to say, okay, well then let me read it and then I'll take from it what can be in alignment with who I already think I am.
Right.
And I'll just leave the rest behind.
And that's the thing about it. It's so simple and it doesn't get into the discipline of Taoism. It's the way of being.
It's just the way of being.
It's the way of being.
Being present, and being in the moment, finding joy in the moment.
That's why it's called the Tao of Pooh.
Yeah.
It's
because
not Taoism, it's the Tao of Pooh.
Pooh.
Yeah.
Because Pooh believes, if nothing else, if there's honey anywhere to be found, then life is joyous.
Yep. And you find it and you enjoy it.
That's right.
Which would never work on my diet.
Well, yeah. We're probably putting something else in there, though, we could trade it off with.
I totally wish I could, live in that realm of it's meant to be enjoyed in this very moment that I want it.
Yeah.
Like Pooh.
Yeah. Like Pooh.
Yeah. Yep.
One of the things I found this too when I was reading it, I thought this was so awesome. In 2014. So it's not that long ago. When I first heard of this, I was like, oh, this must have been like 30 years ago or 40 years ago that this happened. But it wasn't. It was just in 2014. So in 2014, they were having a meeting in a tiny town in Poland, and they were trying to decide upon a new patron for their local children's playground. So they were trying to figure out who should we name this playground after. And Pooh was suggested after Winnie the Pooh. But then it was denounced due to his questionable attire because he didn't wear pants. And so it is half naked, which is wholly inappropriate for children. And therefore, they could not name this playground after Winnie the Pooh. In 2014.
Seriously.
I just found that. To give me a little laugh, but
that's what gave you a laugh.
Yes,
okay, no,
it
that
gave
would
me
not
a laugh
give me a laugh.
because
that does not give me a laugh.
Yeah, no, that gives me a laugh because I think Winnie the Pooh would have just laughed and been on his merry way to the next pot of honey.
He would have definitely.
I don't think he would have stayed there. I don't think he would have given it a lot of grief, which is what most of us tend to do. Most of us tend to grieve in the moment and make it something big that it doesn't have to be, which denies us from stepping into the next, just move into the next moment.
Well, it goes along with one of these quotes of Mr. Pooh. And he says, we didn't know we were making memories. We just thought we were having fun.
Yeah.
And so I can see that he might have, it's not the Tao. It's not the something of Jill. It's not the Taoism of Jill. It's not the practice of Jill. It's the Taoism of Pooh.
Well, let's be honest. Sometimes that fun is going to get you in some trouble. Like you're going to get surrounded by a hornet's nest of bees. But the truth of the matter is not living your life in fun is going to get you surrounded at some point with a hornet's nest of bees.
It's true.
So you might as well approach it from the place of, I'm going to choose to have fun.
Yeah.
And to make it as joyful as possible. And I know there may be some prices I'm going to pay. But if I didn't choose to live life that way, I would pay prices too.
Isn't that
right?
Isn't that a way to look at it?
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I'm there. But I get it. I hear the possibility in that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite?
This is my favorite. And I'm going to try to get through this one. You
just slide it over to me if you can't.
Okay. So this is my very favorite, and I have it as a screenshot on my phone because it's just a really quick way to ground myself in really, truly what are the important things in life. And I'm getting constantly reminded on a daily basis what are the truly important things in life. And it doesn't mean that I still choose them,
Yeah.
right? I still am trying to figure out how to keep all the plates spinning, when in reality, it really is about what he talks about here. So if you've been a listener on the show, you know that my husband is ill and has been, and he's in treatment. And we're very hopeful about what that looks like. But he does have stage 4 cancer. And it can be a grind. And the goal is, honestly, to approach it like Pooh could approach it.
Right.
Like, this day will end too, and then I'm going to have a pot of honey. I can just hear Winnie the Pooh in my ear, about that. But this is my favorite one, and I shared it with my husband today, and we were both in tears. So I may be in tears again, so just please be with me. But so this is Winnie the Pooh and Piglet. I think Christopher Robin is actually the credit for this quote. And then I want to talk about talking to my sister today on the phone, because it was so powerful. But it says, if ever there is a tomorrow when we're not together, there is something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you.
Wow.
And I just think it's so powerful, because you don't even have to be gone, like far way gone,
Okay.
like never returning, gone. Even in those moments when you feel distanced emotionally from someone that you love deeply, remembering that person is always with you and you are always with the other person.
Right.
Is a place to come together. And I just think there's so much wisdom in that short little phrase there.
Right.
So I was talking to my sister today on the phone.
Miss Stephanie, that we love.
Miss Stephanie, who we are going to have on the show.
Yes, we are.
I haven't talked to her about it, but I just announced it. So there you
You're
go.
going to be a guest. We
Yeah.
already have all,
Because
talked
she's
about
amazing.
It. Yep.
And she has an amazing story, and I'm going to mess it all up. But so that's why she has to come on. So I'm intentionally messing it up so that she can come on and correct it. But my sister has like 16. I should know, because they're my nieces and nephews. So I apologize right up front. But 16-ish adopted children, special needs children.
Yes.
That her and her husband have adopted.
And they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I saw Wilkie's picture today.
Oh, I know.
He's just, oh my gosh.
And then she has 4 stepchildren with her husband, and no biological children of her own. I don't know why she didn't squeeze that in, but that's her conversation. We'll ask her when we have her on the show. But I was talking to her today. I'm just giving her an update after I left school and about the show and what we were going to be talking about. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you're going to be talking about that." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because the reason we have Mason, so Mason and Jaya are 2 that they adopted out of China.
And they're so beautiful.
And they're just such an amazing addition to our family. I can't even imagine them not being with us. They're both in wheelchairs, and neither one of them was expected to live even months after their adoption.
Right. We remember this.
Yes.
Yeah. We remember this.
And when they got the referral to get Jaya, I know I'm messing this story up, Stephanie, so be patient with me. Be graceful like Pooh would be. Jaya was in the orphanage, and they were taking a picture of her. And sitting next to her was another girl in a wheelchair, and they were sharing a lunch. And it was very obvious by the picture that they were friends. like real friends,
Yeah.
like not biological
Connected.
sisters, but
I call them
sisters.
bonded.
Yeah, they
Bonded.
were bonded.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they already had the referral for Jaya. And when Stephanie saw that picture, she started to cry because she understood that they clearly were in a relationship with each other. And then part of the quote from Pooh, part of the quote from Winnie the Pooh that I just read, but the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you, was posted on the wall behind them. Mm-hmm. And Stephanie started crying, and she said, they have to be together.
Yeah.
And her sweet husband walked into the room and looked at Stephanie, and then looked at what Stephanie was looking at on the screen, the picture of Jaya and Mason sitting together, and he said, uh-oh. Because he knew what was coming, that those two young ladies were both meant to be together and to be a part of our family and to be here. But what an amazing conversation to have on the phone with my sister today.
Yeah.
When I just happened to bring up, this is the topic today. And she has such a powerful, powerful story about that quote, that same quote I had just read to Scott earlier in the day.
Gosh.
And we both sat there crying as we both read that quote. That's the power of words, but not just words. It's also the simplicity that is there, right?
Sure. I mean, just the whole being of Pooh is the simplicity.
Yeah.
Don't make things more complicated than they are.
Yeah.
Just state and be with what it is.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that story just gives me chills.
I know. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jaya and Mason, I'm so glad whoever was in love with Pooh, I'm sure somebody probably donated it to the orphanage and they just put it up on a wall somewhere.
And who knew?
What magic.
Yeah.
What synchronicity that you would have those two sitting together, sharing a lunch, and that part of the quote
is
be
in the frame.
Seen in the frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they know the story? The two
I
girls?
don't know if they do. I hope they do now.
How old are they now?
Jaya, I believe, oh my gosh, she's
They're
going to
like
kill me.
16.
I want to say 20.
Oh my gosh.
And
what?
Mason is a senior in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think everybody's supposed to stay
I know.
the same age or younger.
So, and remember, they were only going to live months.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying it's been easy. And I don't think Pooh is saying life is always easy. I just think Pooh says how you choose to look at life will make it harder or easier.
Right.
Because my sister and her husband and their family, the other siblings, what they've chosen to, how they've chosen to show up for each other and who they choose to be with each other. That's an amazing story just in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine our family without them.
Well, this is another quote from Pooh that I think ties so beautifully in with that. And Pooh says, "We didn't know we were making memories. We just thought we were having fun."
Yeah.
Disabilities or not.
Nope. Yep.
Whatever that looks like, all the pictures that I see of them, and all of the sweet stories that Stephanie shares, I just think, look at that.
And a little Wilkie.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean,
he's so cute.
He loves to wear like his boots and usually a princess, some kind of outfit, and then dance around to, whatever song is playing. Frozen, anything from Frozen is a particular favorite. Oh. But even Ammon, Boomer.
I was going to say, you don't hear
so
Ammon very
excited on any when he's playing a game and he knows what's coming next. he's so excited to share what he knows is coming next.
He wants
because
to
within his
share.
limited framework, that is victory,
Yep.
right? They've just taught us so much in our world, and our world is so enriched because of them. And I think that's part of Winnie the Pooh as well, is look for the ways in which things around you are enriching your life experience.
The last 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's all in the moments.
Mm-hmm.
And if we sit back and we think about it and we just look at the moments, which is everything that Pooh and Piglet do,
Yeah.
is sit back and look at the moments. I sometimes, especially in the months November to, say the end of January, February.
Yeah, wintering for you.
Wintering for me is all about Eeyore. And so the people that are in my life that are definitely the Winnie the Poohs are such a breath of fresh air and so much part of what gets my Eeyore through.
Yeah. Well, did you know that Eeyore, somebody had written and said, why is Eeyore always so pessimistic? Why is he always a downer, with his head hanging low? And originally, that stuffed animal did not have that. But after a while, the structure of what held that stuffed animal's neck up broke down. And so his head automatically fell forward. And that's why Eeyore's head always is down on the ground,
Flopped
over.
Oh my goodness.
Because the stuffed animal actually was
what is
that
way.
A
metaphor for?
Yeah, right?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a deeper one for Eeyore, from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Eeyore, the guy who does the voice of Eeyore, is the same voice as Optimus Prime from the Transformers.
What?
Wow.
So yeah, Eeyore has a robot leader inside of him.
An alter ego. An alter ego waiting to get out. Wow.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
That's
and
so great.
originally, none of the artwork, originally, A.A. Milne did not want the poems or any of his story. He didn't want any artwork done.
Really?
Yeah.
He just wanted
the words.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then I'll find out the name of the artist. I should know that. I want to say Sherwood, but I don't think that's right. But I'll find it. But he saw the renderings, and then he was like, "Okay, we got to do it." And then even on his headstone, he said that if there's any drawing, he wanted it to be like Pooh and Piglet when they walk off together.
Oh.
Yeah.
In over the hill with the tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And originally, A.A. Milne is from England, but Winnie the Pooh isn't.
No.
He's not British.
Right. Right.
So, and he's based on a real bear. His son fell in love with a true story about a veteran from World War I who came across a bear at like a station where troops they'd trade off troops.
Okay.
And the troops kind of started to be in relationship with this
kind
bear.
of adopted this bear in the area.
And the bear was named Winnie. And it started to become popular, and then he donated it to the zoo while he was in the military. And then when he came back from the military, he saw how much Winnie really loved and how much he was being taken care of and how much people loved to see him, or Winnie. Could have been probably, I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, that part I don't know. And so he had him stay at the zoo. But Christopher Robin fell in love with that Winnie, that real live one. And that's kind of how it started.
That's crazy where these things come from.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Patty sent us the lyrics to the song that she loves so much that goes along with that. And I think ties into what you're saying.
Yeah. So this is Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins sings the song. It's hard to explain how a few precious things seem to follow throughout our lives. And I just think that, I mean, with that bear, that connection there, and I don't know. There's just some things in life, some pieces of literature, some pieces of content that really resonate and connect with more than just a few people. And I think Winnie the Pooh is one.
Yeah.
I think we all can find ourselves in one of those characters in that storyline.
Yeah.
In that character set.
Well, we probably find ourselves to be each character.
Sure. A different
Right?
day is
Yeah.
Absolutely a
Yep.
different day is a different character. And how great for us at all different ages in life and all different time periods of life to be able to simultaneously connect with something that you connected with when you were 5
Exactly.
and when you're 54.
yeah,
And-
exactly.
And we can talk to our parents now and they can tell us the same thing. I
Yeah.
don't think there's a single person that hasn't enjoyed Winnie the Pooh stories.
I
at
mean,
one level.
I was talking to my students in class the other day, and I asked them, because I was talking about like being an explorer, because I want them to explore rather than me telling them what the answer is. I want them to navigate. I want them to explore. I want them to look under the bushes. I want
Right.
them to put their foot out to see if they're into space, into the air, to see if there's actually a stone that will appear there that creates a pathway. And so I was talking about, I want you to be like Indiana Jones. And they looked at me like, what are you talking about? They had that. Now they're going to know because now they're making another one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now
Steven
I'm going to be
Spielberg.
all over it, right? Because
Steven's on it. Steven's on
yeah,
it.
but they had no idea who I was talking about. However, if I mentioned Winnie the Pooh, they would know.
Every
Everyone
single
would
one of
have
them.
some kind of reference point, because one of the things I adore about Winnie the Pooh is even his friendship with Eeyore, how Eeyore always showed up.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about making Eeyore wrong.
Or feel bad for being
Exactly.
yeah.
It wasn't about making any of them wrong. They were all this group of friends who brought all of them, who they were, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, all of it to the relationship. And they figured out how to maintain this relationship with each other.
Yeah.
And I just, it could be such a valuable, if we could learn from Pooh. Maybe I need to write an editorial.
We can learn from
Be
Pooh.
Pooh.
Be Pooh.
Be Pooh.
Today, are you
Yeah.
Pooh?
Yeah. Mhm.
Which Pooh are you
Rate your
today?
Pooh. There's so many places we could go here, but we're not going to go any further because then we'd be kicked off the airway. But
Oh, I don't think
just
we'd get
think it would be
kicked off the
so wonderful for us to be able to embrace life from that place instead of how we're choosing to navigate with one another
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with all of
Yeah.
that, my friend.
Well, thank you, friend, for sharing
I love you.
National Celebrate Winnie the Pooh Day.
We love you, Pooh.
Yeah, we do love you, Pooh.
And Piglet, too.
Yeah, and Piglet too.
And Eeyore.
And Eeyore.
November through
And
February.
Roo. That's right, exactly. So get your Pooh on.
You too, Sean. You too, Sean.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
Get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.